Hey friends, welcome back to another wearable making video for Decentraland. Today we're going to be taking a look at making a lower body piece for Decentraland. In this case, we're going to be making a pair of cargo trousers and we want them to look pretty urban. We're going to have some pockets on the sides, some strips hanging down, and have them a little bit baggy but cinched at the bottom. Okay, so let's get started by going into Blender, and I've already imported the female base model and the male base model from the links that you can find below in the bio. You can find these models available for download freely in a Google Drive that is hosted by the Decentraland Foundation, and I will link that below in the description box. Okay. So we started with the male before, so let's start with the female this time. And like usual, I'm going to create a new collection for our trousers F in this case. And I'm going to duplicate the lower half of the body and move it to our new collection. And let's give it a new name. Let's call it Trousers F. Cool. Now we can hide the female. And we'll do what we usually do when importing a GLB. Come to our Object Data Properties, open Geometry Data, clear Custom Split Normals Data, tab in, go to Mesh, Clean Up, Merge by Distance to remove the double vertices, and then hit Option or Alt-J to remove the triangles and turn them into quads where possible. Okay, let's go into X-ray mode with Option Z, and we're going to delete all the vertices on this side and add a mirror modifier so that we're only working on the one side and the other side is duplicated automatically. Let's enable clipping so that our vertices join up and check that we don't have any empty faces. Yep, we seem good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark those vertices that we don't want to change in order for it to work correctly with the Decentraland wearable system. And that is the ring of vertices around the hips and the ring of vertices around the ankles. So let's just go ahead and mark sharp, just so that we can see the difference there when we tab in and we know not to touch those areas. Now let's start thinking about how we want our trousers to kind of hang on the body and how we want them to work. So first off, I'm going to create a basic trouser material, and let's give it a dark gray color. Increase the roughness, reduce the specularity, and let's go ahead and apply it to all of this section here. We are also going to open up our statistics here on the side so we can see how we're doing for triangles. At the moment, we're doing pretty well. We're at 466 and our limit is 1,300. So we can add in quite a bit more detail, which is great news. So let's add in another loop cut here. And this is going to be the cinched part of our trousers. So the loop cuts that are above, we're then going to start to give them more volume. Let's just continue up the leg, making this a bit bulkier, a bit baggier, but still leaving some idea of the anatomy that's underneath this. So we've got our knee here and we kind of want it to come in a little bit here. But we still want that bagginess, right? So let's play around with proportions. And I'm just using Alt or Option here to grab the different loops. Okay, so I don't want these to stick to each other like they're doing here. That's because we've got clipping enabled. So let's turn that off for a second. and just make these a little bit smaller. We might even pull them out a little bit on the x-axis. Whenever I'm making anything baggy like this, I like to double check that the avatar's hands, when they come down, aren't going to go into the wearable. So let's grab the armature and go into pose mode, and let's pull this arm down just to make sure that it isn't going into the trousers here. Cool. So that is as far down as the arm will go. It usually goes to about 85 maximum, minus 85 on this side. And then the wrist also has a little bit of movement like that. Okay, so we can see that our trousers and our hand aren't colliding, so that's a great start. And I'm just going to make a note of where our hand is with the grease pencil here. Okay, to make them baggier, I'm also going to bring down the midsection with proportional editing. I'm going to go ahead and add some more geometry in between the legs here, just so we can better define the shape, and later on I'll go and remove that extra geometry. So whilst I go through this, I'll probably just speed up the video so that it doesn't get boring for you guys, but you can still see what's happening. The design references that we're going for have these like strips hanging off them, kind of like dungarees, but not dungarees. So I'm going to add in a curve, and I'm just going to play with that positioning before I add anything in as a model. Curves are a super useful way to play around with different shapes and see what might work before you commit to it with geometry. I'm going to duplicate both of these curves, and I'm going to make a mock-up with each one in geometry. So let's convert to mesh and tab in. Actually, before converting to mesh, I'm just going to reduce the resolution here to, say, 8. Okay, now we will convert to mesh and extrude out. And then scale in to create a 3-dimensional object instead of a plane. And in this case, let's add a solidify modifier. And let's just change the offset to 1. There we go. Okay, I think that's going to be a better option, but I'm concerned at how it's going to integrate with the hand. Yep, see, it's going to go straight through the hand. So let's grab this mesh and play around with it. So we've gone ahead and made the pants a bit baggier to match the urban style we're going for, and we can now texture them. To get a more high-res look, I unwrapped the pants UVs in Blender with the U shortcut, and then applied different textures in Substance Painter. So we've got a background black mesh effect, the Son of Adam pattern in our brown logos on one leg, and our respective logos are there as well. We've added in some creases and other details that Substance Painter is perfect for. If you want me to put together a Substance Painter tutorial for you guys, just let me know in the comments below. Cool, now we're happy with the shape and look of the pants, let's go ahead and rig them to the avatar armature. First off, let's go into the Modifiers panel and apply or remove any modifiers. Now let's make sure the pants aren't parented to anything else in the scene, so press Option or Alt-P and select Clear Parent and Keep Transformations. Okay, let's go ahead and apply all transforms to the model with Ctrl-A and select Apply All Transforms. Almost ready, let's just go into the Object Data Properties panel and remove any vertex groups that may be there. Great, now we have a clean model and we can start rigging it to the base Decentraland avatar skeleton. Select the pants, then the armature, and press Ctrl-P to parent them. A few different parenting options will come up on the screen, and any of the armature deform choices will work for this. I tend to go for automatic weights, but it's a similar process regardless of the armature deform option you choose. Now that's done, we can go into weight paint mode and adjust the influences so the model moves well and works with the Decentraland platform. I like to select the skeleton, then the model, and go from object mode to weight paint mode in the box on the top left-hand corner. Then you can select different bones by holding down the Control key and see their individual influence on different parts of the mesh. You could use the paint tool to add or remove weights to different areas and the blur tool to soften transitions. There are other cool weight painting techniques you can use, but this is more than enough to make a wearable. So if you've seen some of my other videos or have checked out the Decentraland documentation, you may know that there are special stitches or loops that we need to keep an eye out for. The ring of vertices around the hips, for example, needs to be fully weighted to the hip bone with no influence from any other bones. The same is true for the loops at the base of the ankles. They need to be in the same position as on the original avatars and be fully weighted to the lower leg bones. Awesome, now our trousers are pretty much ready to go. However, before we get ahead of ourselves, there are a couple more things to do. So male and female avatars have different hip heights and sizes, which is why there are male and female versions of most wearables. To make unisex trousers, we need to make two versions, one with the hip vertices in the male position and one with the hip vertices in the female position. The easiest and quickest way to do this is usually by creating one of the models like we've done here, and then making some small adjustments around the hip areas to create the other version. Cool, let's go ahead and check these out in the Decentraland wearable editor. To export the wearables, select the model, then the armature, and go to File, Export, Export as GLB. In the options panel that shows next, under Include, check Selected Objects, under Transform, check +Y up, under Geometry, check UVs, Normals, and Vertex Colors, and under Animation, just check Skinning. Name your model and press Export. Next, head on over to builder.decentraland.org and select the Collections tab. Create a new collection with a cool name and add an item by uploading the GLB file you just exported. Configure the gender, choose the best category for it, in this case lower body, and your chosen rarity. Now you can see an avatar wearing the pants and check for any issues. You can also give the wearable a name, description, tags, and set it to override other items if necessary. If your item isn't showing up here, it's most likely due to a parenting or armature issue. Make sure you downloaded the skeleton from the armature folder in the Google Drive link down below, and double check that you cleared any previous parenting the model had by pressing Option or Alt-P, and then Clear Parent and Keep Transformation. If you do clear the parent though, you'll need to go back through the full weight painting process again, so you may want to save a backup or do this in a separate file. To upload the other representation of the trousers, click on the three dots in the top right hand corner and choose Add Male or Female Representation. Upload the other GLB here. You can change the avatar's properties by clicking on the head and shoulders icon at the bottom of the screen. Try out different clothing combinations to see how they fit together and if there are any clipping issues that need resolving. If you want to change the thumbnail, you can do that by clicking on the camera icon on the thumbnail and uploading a picture. Your thumbnail should be in PNG format with a transparent background and no larger than 512 by 512 pixels. Most thumbnails just include the wearable without skin, hair, or any other extras. You can also check the item out in World by going back to the Collections page and selecting your new collection. Click on the three dots at the top of the screen and choose See in World. This will open a new browser tab and you'll need to change your digital wallet from the Ethereum network to the Ropsten test network. If you're using MetaMask, open up the extension and at the top where it says Ethereum network, click to expand and choose the Ropsten test network instead. Give the world a moment to load and then head into your backpack to try on your new item. It's handy to run around and check the different emotes are working well. When your item is ready to be submitted to the DCL platform, go back to the Wearable editor and press Publish. You'll need Polygon Mana to pay the submission fees, and you can convert Mana to Polygon Mana at account.decentraland.org. The conversion process takes about 30 minutes, so don't worry. You could grab a coffee, have a quick nap, do the washing up, or whatever. And as soon as you have enough Polygon Mana in your account, you can submit the wearables. Next, the Decentraland Curators Committee will review your item. And this process usually takes around 10 days just to make sure it works and is in compliance with the DCL content policy and terms of service. If your item requires any modifications, a member of the committee will let you know via the Decentraland forum. If you haven't used the forum before, it's a good idea to go in and set up an account so you get email notifications if anyone comments on your submission. And whilst your collection is under review, you can see a grey button next to it in the Wearable editor. When it's been approved, the button will turn green and the minting options will be available. If the collection is rejected, the button will turn red and a reason will be given on the Decentraland forum. You can contest a rejected collection via the DAO, however that doesn't guarantee that it's going to be approved. Once the button goes green, you can mint, wear, sell and gift your items. Hey! I hope this helps you create your own pants through Decentraland. I'd love to see what you make, so tag KJ Walker 3D or LowPolyModelsWorld on Twitter with your creations. If you have any questions, just let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye!